Okay, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, everybody. How's everybody doing today? How's everybody doing today? Let me hear some noise here in person. Make some noise. Got a little bit of people online? Okay, good. And I don't know, so people online, I know there's not a lot of people online. Can you give us some like jazz hands or something? Are they doing jazz hands? They got cameras on at all or no? Show. Yeah, even the people here in person are doing jazz hands. So come on, you people online, you got jazz hands us. So are they seeing me or are they still seeing that screen? They're seeing me. Okay, cool. So my name is Tom Maher. I'm the Minnesota MUFON chapter director, and we're going to start off by jumping right into our slides. If you want to go back to sharing the screen again for them. So 2 meeting sponsors today. So what that's about is Christine has been a longtime member. She's been very supportive and contributing a lot to us. And she sent us a check for more than twice the amount of a Zoom meeting. And then Michelle Gates is also a longtime member, very supportive. And she sent us a check for more than twice the amount too. And they both said hybrid meetings. So they obviously wanted it to pay for the Zoom, but nobody specified what month they wanted it for. So I'm going to let them be co-sponsors. So they paid for, between the two of them, they paid for at least 4 months for the Zoom meeting. So Michelle and Christine will be our sponsors for the next couple of Zoom months. Let's give them a round of applause for supporting us on the Zoom. So, okay, so we need your donations as we continue our programming every month. So MUFON members, we request a $5 donation. For guests, we request $7 to continue to support Minnesota MUFON and our fine programming. Again, contact our treasurer, Jan Swenson, at jan.swenson.pioneer@gmail.com. We accept PayPal, Zelle, credit cards, personal checks, and cash. And of course, as always, your kindness is appreciated. All right. So what am I doing? Minnesota MUFON chapter director. So I'm doing a lot of stuff. So you can hear me on 95 KQDS radio in Duluth on the 3rd Thursday of every month at approximately 8:40. Days and times are subject to change. See www.95kqds.com for details and recordings. And when it says dates and times are subject to change, if you've been trying to catch me on this radio, you know the dates and times are very subject to change. I'm not sure if I've ever been on Thursday, the 3rd Thursday at 8:40, but on a bunch of times, but just scheduling problems and mishaps and stuff. So we're trying to get me on the 3rd Thursday at 8:40 a.m., but we'll hit it one of these times. But the recordings are up on 95 KQDS if you want to hear them. I may be appearing on a new radio show called Ghost Box Radio with Greg Backen on KTNF AM 950. He's thinking he wants to be on either on July 18th or July 20th. He's not sure. At 10 p.m. It's an hour-long show. He wants me on for the full hour. He wants to talk about Minnesota MUFON and Minnesota MUFON chapter. So since I don't have the details all settled yet, just watch for details on the Minnesota MUFON Facebook page, and I'll try to let you know when that's happening. It should be happening, but we're still trying to work all that out. And it has been finalized. I will be kicking off UFO Days in Elmwood, Wisconsin on Friday night, July 28th at 7 p.m. in the high school auditoriums. The topic is going to be MUFON, extraterrestrials, and Wisconsin. So that should be good. So if you want to find out more information, go to wisconsinfrights.com/Elmwood-UFO-days for more details. And we would like to get videotaped. We did talk to them about them videotaping it, the AV at their high school, so they might try to do that. If we can get someone from here to come out with a video camera too, we would love to have it. If we've got 2 people recording it, that'd be fantastic, because we'd like to have a record of it. We'd like to put it up on our website and maybe on our Facebook page. So if you're interested in have a video camera and you want to go out to Elmwood, Wisconsin on July 28th to record my presentation, let us know. We'd be happy to have you out there for that. Our next field investigator meeting is going to be on Monday, July 17th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. So all you field investigators, check your emails for the link or contact me at mufontom@epcoachtom.com. And if you're watching, if you're one of the people that have said you're interested in becoming a field investigator, we are opening up these meetings to people who are interested in becoming field investigators. So you can meet the field investigators, find out a little bit about what the training is like, what we're like to work with. So yeah, if you're interested in becoming a field investigator, let us know. We'd be happy to have you join our field investigator meeting. So. And of course, if you're a field investigator, it's always a great day to log on to MUFON University. So MUFON University, you can check your dashboard, read about MUFON University, take Astronomy 101, explore in field investigator training, take professional development classes such as MUFON Leadership Style Assessments, Presentation Design 101, Public Speaking 101, Space Exploration, Technology courses such as computers and software applications, and much more. And they're constantly doing stuff to upgrade MUFON University. They're working really hard on that. So there's always going to be good stuff out there for field investigators to do some learning. So do you know of a group that would enjoy a presentation from Minnesota MUFON? This could be a church group or a book club, Lions clubs, benefactors clubs, Rotary clubs, science clubs, social clubs, Knights of Columbus, schools, Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, or other things like Elmwood, Wisconsin, the UFO Days. So if you know someone who would enjoy a presentation from Minnesota MUFON, let us know, because we do these meetings here every month. But we also, one of our goals is to educate the public. So if there is an organization that would like a presentation from us, let us know. We'd be happy to talk to them about it and see if we can work that out, because we happy to do that. So we don't do it often. We'd like to do it more often though. So if you know of a group that would, and it can be on anything. So we could do a presentation on the history of MUFON. We could do a presentation on what it is, how to become a field investigator, what a field investigation is like. Mike and I did a presentation a couple of years back, or a year or two back, and we took the area, I think it was like Edina. So I looked at a whole bunch of UFO cases from Edina. So I told them about cases that happened right in their area. So they really appreciated that. So let us know. We'd be happy to put together a presentation for one of these clubs. We'd love to have you as a member if you're not a member already. So our basic membership is $589 per month or $59.88 per year. Our next level membership is $999 per month or $119.88 per year. Or our big level one is $299.88 per year. They all have different options and things. And those prices I'm listing too, that's for the electronic journals, or the journal online. If you want to get the hard copy journal, do we have any hard copy journals at the check-in desk back there, Kathy, or no? Are there hard copy MUFON journals back there right now, or no? Just once. If you want to see a hard copy journal, there's one back there. So, okay, actually, I probably have a couple up here myself, but so that comes with the electronic journal. If you want the hard copy journal, there is an additional fee. I think it's $29 to get the hard copy journal on top of those prices. So, and here's, lo and behold, here's the current July journals. The July journals, a newcomer's guide to MUFON, what it does, how it does it. So if you're interested in becoming a MUFON member, once you join, you'll have access to this at least electronically, and that it'll be out there forever. So if you join in 5 months, you can still go back and see, because it sounds like a great newcomer's guide to MUFON. I think it's really good. I haven't read through it myself, but I definitely want to check that out, because even though I've been with MUFON a long time and I'm a chapter director, it's like always, when you go over the basics and go review stuff, there's always things you learn. There's always things you pick up, so it's always something to kind of, oh yeah, that's what that's all about. So yeah, definitely worth checking and looking into. And of course, to explore the various MUFON membership opportunities or to become a MUFON member, go to www.mufon.com/join. Oh, and for those of you online who may not have heard that, what they're saying is supposedly the electronic journal is free online. So feel free to check that out, which makes sense if they're doing kind of like an intro to MUFON. Look for the electronic journal free online. So July only. So are you a Minnesota MUFON member? Are you interested in participating in Minnesota MUFON in a bigger way? Are you interested in working closer with the Minnesota MUFON leadership? Do you have some technology experience, or would you like some? And are you a people person? So Minnesota MUFON is looking for a few volunteers to support us with various tasks. You can help make Minnesota MUFON an even better chapter. Interested parties can speak to me, Tom Maher, or email me at mufontom@epcoachtom.com for more details. And I'm actually going to be talking a little bit more about that when I do some introductions of the executive team. So there's some opportunities there. So, but if you're interested in being more involved with us, we'd love to talk to you about that. And of course, the 42nd annual MUFON Symposium, Friend or Foe 2.0, is coming up in Cincinnati, Ohio, August 24th through the 27th. Keynote speakers, David Paulides. And actually, I like this guy here, Thiago Luis Tichetti. He made his own little promo banner for it, and it looks so good. I was like, I'm going to borrow it because it's for our symposium. So he's going to be speaking there. So for information on that, you can go to mufonsymposium.com, August 24th through the 27th in Cincinnati, Ohio. So we'd love to have you out there. David Paulides is a very well-known speaker, so it's great. And registration is open. I think early bird is going through. Early bird might have ended. I think early bird was ending was it in early July? Do we know? Yeah, there may still be early bird pricing, but I'm not sure. I think it's close to ending. So if you want to get in on it, do it. Be there. Yeah. Okay, so the Minnesota MUFON Symposium Fund. So MUFON requires chapter representation at the annual symposium. So our board of directors elected to establish a fund to send a representative. So to donate to the fund, contact Jan Swenson at jan.swenson.pioneer@gmail.com. And of course, we appreciate your donations. And so here's what the breakdown is. So to send someone to the symposium, the early bird registration is $279, so we locked in on that. Field investigator training is $99, and we locked in on that for a total of $378. Airfare is right around $437, could be fees and things. So, and the hotel for that stay is going to be $930 plus taxes and fees. So it's going to be approximately $1,745, again, depending on airfare and fees. To date, we raised $845, leaving us a goal of just $900 left to cover all that. So that'd be great. So if you can donate to the symposium fund, we would certainly appreciate it. And so here's who's contributed so far to the Symposium Fund. So ICE had contributed to it. Terry Lynn Keel, if you remember, if you've been here before, Terry Lynn was actually one of our presenters here a few months back, and we offered her her speaker fee of $100. She wanted to donate that to the Symposium Fund, so she donated that back to us. Field investigator board member Anna Scott has donated. Lou Grube, who's back here, has donated. The Minnesota MUFON Board of Directors at our last meeting, there was a motion made to donate from the general fund about $400 to the Symposium Fund. So that happened. Bill Auden, who's back here today, he donated to us. And Christine, who I think she sponsored our meeting, and I think she's here online too. So Christine donated to us. So your name could be next on this list if you want to donate to the Symposium Fund. We'd certainly appreciate it. And of course, everyone who has donated, we thank you, thank you, thank you. We certainly appreciate that. So. So the June financials. So what happened for us in June? So rental of this room was $168. And I remember it used to be about $234, $235 right in there somewhere. But Jan Swenson was working with New Brighton Community Center to get that lowered for us. We got it lowered to $168. So it should be $168 going forward. So that's great. Even though she's not here, let's give Jan a round of applause for getting it lowered for us. We have a meetup site. So the meetup fees is $16.49 per month. Our website, we're paying $13.09 per month, and Zoom is $13.49. So the June meeting cost us $211.07. So our at the door income, we had $118. Prepaid meeting fees was $44. Our joke of the month donation was $10, and our Zoom fee donation was $107. So that was Christine and Michelle combined gave us $107. So that bring our total to $279. With we actually had a income of $67.93 for last meeting, which is fantastic. So a big part of that was Michelle and Christine donating for the Zoom fee donation. So thank them both again for that. So. We'd like to thank all the people who've donated in the past few months to us, because you have been very generous to us, and we certainly appreciate your generosity. So thank you, everyone who's been donating to our chapter. So our MUFON membership. So here's what we're looking at. The stats for this come out sporadically. They don't come out consistently every month. They come out every month, but the date they come out varies. So they haven't sent me the July data yet. So June we are at 90. Hopefully by the August meeting, I'll have the July and August data. So there's no new data here since last month. So we're still sitting at 90 for June. So we'll hopefully have an update for you that next month. And so if you need to contact me, you can reach me via email at mufontom@epcoachtom.com, and make sure to check out the Minnesota MUFON website at www.mnmufon.org. And of course, don't forget the global website, www.mufon.com. So our extraterrestrial joke of the month. We're doing a Star Wars joke again this month. The Star Wars. Can we make some noise for a Star Wars joke? Let's hear a little bit of Star Wars joke. I think there's two things. I think it's a good joke. I also think I might have told this joke before. So some of you might know this one. I'm not sure. So I don't remember all of them. So I might have told this joke before. But our sponsor for our joke of the month is MarsCon 2024. Shh, that's classified. Taking place on March 8th through the 10th, 2020. Oh, 2023 is not 2024. At the Hilton Minneapolis St. Paul Airport Mall of America, 3800 American Boulevard East in Bloomington. MarsCon is a fan-run science fiction convention for all ages held every March in the Twin Cities area. At MarsCon, you'll find panel discussions, gaming, parties, guest of honor presentations, music of many kinds, an art show, film anime room, science room, dealer's room, charity auction, and masquerade. But wait, there's more. Their Con and a Con comedy music track attracts performers and listeners from across the country. This is a veritable smorgasbord of sci-fi. Various ticket packages available. So go to marscon.org/2024 for all the details, but keep it quiet. It's classified. And I did see, I presented there last year, and the Con and a Con comedy music track was actually pretty entertaining. I only saw a little bit of it, but it was very, very cool. And I'm going to keep talking about this because I thought it was so cool. The woman that's currently playing R2-D2 in, is it The Mandalorian? Or is that right? Currently playing R2-D2 The Mandalorian. She was there. I had a chance to chat with her for a little bit, so that was kind of cool. And one of the guys who played Jawa, one of the Jawas in like the original 1977 Star Wars was there too. So I got to meet the current R2-D2 and one of the original Jawas. So that was kind of cool. A lot of fun at MarsCon. So, and now, which program do Jedi use to open their PDF files? Which program do Jedi use to open PDF files? If you're online and you're in the chat, put us your answer in the chat. But I'm looking at anybody. So no one knows this. Maybe I didn't use this joke before. I like this joke. So what program do Jedi use to open their PDF files? Any takers? Any takers? Anyone guessing online? No one's guessing online. I'm going to give you a few more seconds. Anyone have any guess at all? What program do Jedi use to open their PDF files? Oh, the Force. That's a good guess. You're in the neighborhood. You're not there, but you're in the neighborhood. Gonna give them online a few more seconds. 3, 2, 1. They use Adobe Wan Kenobi to open their PDF files. Adobe Wan Kenobi. Come on, that doesn't get any laughs at all for that joke. Come on, Adobe Wan Kenobi. Come on, that's at least cute. It's not maybe not the funniest, but it's cute. So don't hold it against MarsCon for sponsoring that one. They paid for it, but they didn't write it. So, okay, if you'd like to sponsor the Minnesota MUFON Joke of the Month or submit a joke to the Joke of the Month, because if you didn't like that one, I'll take your submissions and use them too. You can submit your request to me at mufontom@epcoachtom.com. So before we get into stats and rankings, let's go back to my other announcements that I have for today. Maybe let's stop sharing for this part, if we could. So MUFON's mission is a scientific study of UFOs for the benefit of humanity. And MUFON has how many goals? How many goals does MUFON have? I'm seeing 3 is correct. Goal number 1, we investigate UFO sightings and collect the data in the MUFON database for use by researchers worldwide. Our second goal is we promote research on UFOs to discover the true nature of the phenomenon with an eye towards scientific breakthroughs and improving life on our planet. Number 3, we educate the public on the UFO phenomenon and its potential impact on society. That's what we do here the second Saturday of every month. We educate the public. So we do meet here the second Saturday of every month. We start with we open the doors at 1 o'clock for social time, and meeting times do vary based on our presentations. If we're going to go long, we could start earlier, but and meetings ideally. What we have right now is a hybrid meeting, meaning we've got people here in person and we've got you online. We're looking at you online. So we've got people here in person and online. That's a hybrid meeting. At times that we have had only in person, at times we've had only online meetings. So ideally we want to keep doing this, but we may switch it up based on different factors. So always watch our email announcements, check our Facebook page, and check our meetup for the details on that. So. And then I'll also talk about starting times too. So as I said many times before, I am the chapter director, but I do not run this chapter alone. I have lots and lots of help. So I got to introduce some people that do help me out run this chapter. I'm going to start off with right down here in front, Jared Nelson. He's our assistant director. He's on our ERT team, and he's our programming co-coordinator. So give Jared a big round of applause. And right back here in the next, in the blue shirt is Bill McNeff. He's our chief investigator. He's our director of communications. He's our ERT team, and he's our star team manager. So, and Bill, I should ask, are you still director of communications, or is that transferred to Jared? Transferred to Jared. So I got to update my notes. So Jared's got another title. So got to update that on that. So, and of course, also down in front, our assistant chief investigator. She's on our ERT team, and she's our programming co-coordinator, Anna Scott. Scott, sorry. And she's not here today. She's off and running, but our treasurer is Jan Swenson. Let's give Jan a big round of applause for all the work she does. Now, I talked a little bit earlier about opportunities to volunteer with Minnesota MUFON. So there's a few opportunities I'll tell you about right now. Right now, our secretary position is open. So if you're interested in being on the board of directors and being the secretary for Minnesota MUFON, we'd love to chat with you. So that would be attending our board meetings and taking minutes. It would also be attending field investigator training and taking minutes. And it seems like there's something else online where to take minutes too, but I'm blanking on it. So, but anyways, so and other secretarial stuff like registering with the state and other details like that. But we'd certainly be happy to talk to you if you're interested in doing that. And our past secretary, Kathy, is right back there. She'd be happy to answer any questions that you've got about that. So that's one position that's open. Another position that I don't know if it's really open or not. A few months back, our board of directors elected to have a programming coordinator position. And currently, Jared and Anna are filling that role, and they're doing a fine job at it too. But if you'd like to become our programming coordinator, you want to learn what they're doing, kind of help and support them, we'd love to talk to you about that. And then the other position that we have that is the board created, we've had no one in it at all, with brand new position that no one's ever been filling. Our membership director, we've got a membership director position that is open. We would have you on board on the board of directors, work on membership. I've got a whole kind of like plan on what I'd like the membership director to do. So if you're interested in becoming our membership director, let me know. I'd be happy to talk to you about our membership director and the opportunities there. So those are some of the opportunities to volunteer with Minnesota MUFON. And so today's meeting, we're going to do What's Up in Minnesota. So What's Up in Minnesota is where I talk about MUFON cases in Minnesota, cases that we've closed since the last meeting, and new cases that have come in. And then last month, we started a video, a SCU video, First scientific results for UAPx. We watched part 1. Today we'll be watching part 2. So we'll see the conclusion of the video that we started last month. In August, we're going to do What's Up in Minnesota. And I think Jared's still working on what is happening other than What's Up in Minnesota for August. Is that correct? Yeah. So we're going to have What's Up in Minnesota in August, and the other parts to be determined. And is it Terry Lynn Keel's back in September? So Terry Lynn Keel, I talked about her earlier. She donated her money to the symposium fund. She spoke to us a few months back. She's doing a different presentation for us in a few months. So she'll be back to join us again in September. So that is what's coming up for our meeting. So Minnesota MUFON, we have a YouTube channel. So if you've got, we actually have over 1,630 subscribers to our channel. So we think that's great. We've got 38 videos out there. We've got Paula Harris videos, Ken Storch videos from when they were actually here speaking in person. We had Sherry Wild here. That's out there. Ted Phillips, Grant Cameron. We've got videos of Minnesota MUFON members, Joe Swenson, former chapter director, Craig Lang. And when we had an experiencer panel, that's out there, and others. And Jared Nelson down here in front, he's been working hard on putting new videos out there. So he's got some of the What's Up in Minnesota videos out there. He's got the year in review out there. So he's continuing working to get more stuff out there too. So we're at 38 videos now. So that's a nice jump. So we want to let's thank Jared for getting more videos out there for us. And now I recognize most of the faces, but I just want to check, are there any first-time attendees here? I don't want to put anyone on the spot. So one first time, are you the only first? You might be the only, because you've been here before. Yes, ma'am? You've been here one. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. So see, this will be scary because she's been here one time and she came back. So this won't hurt, I promise. So welcome. Okay, so are there any new MUFON members here? So you may have been here before, you may not, but now you're a member and you weren't before. Any new MUFON members here? No new MUFON members. That's okay. You could be a new MUFON member next time if you want to. Come back next month. Are there any MUFON members here who recently renewed their membership? Anyone who's recently renewed their membership? Cool. And how long have you been a member? Second year. Nice. Let's give him a round of applause for renewing his membership. Thank you. Thank you for that. Okay, so now as you can see, we're going to get into MUFON stats. Okay, so our statistics for July 8th, 2023. Yep. So the dates I'm pulling now, so I'm pulling this data from our database from the date of our meeting last month, which was June 10th through yesterday. So I'm giving you all the current stuff from our last meeting through yesterday. Well, there were 677 reports that came into us. So United States was at the top. I don't know how many were up at the top with, but we had more than anybody else. United Kingdom had 29, France had 28, Canada had 26. And I should put a note sometime on there. Yeah. 544 in the United States, going all the way down to Romania, Sri Lanka, Trinidad, Tobago, and Zambia, all at one apiece for a total of 677, which is kind of a low month. Usually I expect to see the number around 800 to 900 is what's pretty common when we look at these reports. It's a little bit low, which is also a little unusual too, because it's nicer weather. So, I mean, people are out more. When people are out more, our sightings usually go up. So having it being a little low is a little unusual, but it is what it is. That's what our database reflects. Rankings by state, June 10th, we got California up at the top with, is that 50 or something like that, or California 56, Florida at 37, Texas at 35, Arizona at 34. We are right down here. Where are we? Because we had 7 that came in. So South Carolina's 8, Nevada 7, New Mexico 7, Tennessee, Utah, Wisconsin all at 7, Georgia at 6. So 7 cases, and none of the 7 cases are ERT cases. What does that mean? That means I'll be able to show you information on all 7 cases today. So I won't be holding any of them back because none of them are ERT. So. Oh, did someone say what's ERT? Oh, that's a fantastic question. Did I hear that right? What's ERT? So, and actually, since you're a guest too, feel free to ask questions if you have them, because we do want to share, we do want to educate the public. So ERT stands for Experiencer Resource Team. And we actually have 3 members of the Experiencer Resource Team in this room right now. And I just want to give them the opportunity to, any of you 3 want to talk a little bit about what the Experiencer Resource Team is and does? And can I put you on the microphone too, so people out there can hear you? Okay, let's take just a second.
So I'm Anna Scott, and I'm on the executive committee of the ERT. And what we do is we really offer a listening ear to people who have experiences. So rather than like a regular case that's submitted, we don't investigate anything. What we do is we offer support and some resources if needed. So our goal is very different on the ERT than it is as a field investigator. Do you have any other questions? Okay, hopefully I explained that well.
I've got no complaints. Yeah, let's give a round of applause for that. Yep. Okay, yeah, and that's the thing too. So the reason why I don't talk about the ERT cases is because we try to keep all the witnesses and or not, we try to protect their anonymity. But with ERT cases, we want to bring it to even a higher level. So I can't even tell you, what the case was about at all. So with the other cases, I can tell you some details, not about the witness, but about some of the cases itself. So thank you for that question. Okay, so distance reports through June 10th through July 7th. So cases that were less than 100 feet, we had 80. From 101 feet to 500 feet, we also had 80. From 501 feet to a mile, we had 118. Over a mile, we had 129, and unknown value were 79, and no value was 26. And we also received reports of 17 landings, hoverings, or takeoffs, and 25 entities observed. So 25 entities, which was interesting because usually on the typical month, the entities are usually in the mid 30s. So this, again, is a little bit lower. Cases are low and our entities observed are low too. So that's kind of interesting. The entities are also down too. So I think that's all of our stats for the month. Because of course, here's how our CMS rankings. And the CMS rankings, they come out very regularly. They always come out on the 10th. So on any month where our meetings are on the earlier than the 10th, I don't have the data for you. So this is all last month stuff. So I can't tell you where we are ranking this month. And next month, I probably won't tell you this month, but I'll give you the current ranking. But this is where we go through and look at each chapter and how they're doing as far as when the cases are coming in, how fast they're being assigned, and what they're doing with that. So last month we had, looks like 36 chapters at 100%, and which is great because there's like 53 chapters. And to have 36 at 100%, when I first started seeing this report, that number was pretty consistently around the mid-teens, like 16 to 18. And now we're consistently in the mid-30s. So that really is really great that our field investigators, and actually the credit goes to our chief investigators and our field investigators. So our chief investigators get the cases, get them assigned to the field investigators get it done. So they are the reason field investigators across the country are why we've got so many chapters at 100%. So there's some of them in this room. Let's give them a round of applause because they deserve it. So. All right, so moving on. So what's up in Minnesota? So these are updates. So these I'll go through these a little bit faster. These are cases I've shown you before, and they weren't closed when I showed you them before. They're now closed. We're going to see the conclusions on these cases. And I think there's about 9 of them. There's a good handful of them here. So it was back in 4/18/2023 at 8:33 p.m. a fireball was seen, a CE1. We'll get into what that valet classification means a little bit later. In Stillwater, a bright ball hovering glowing orb changed a circle to a disc. Just a synopsis. The woman was in a car chased by an orb one night. Anna Scott right down here. When I showed it to you before, she was in the process of investigating it. Now this one has been completed. So let's take a look at some of the pictures that were submitted with this one. So of course you see that and you kind of go, what is that they're looking at? So some of these are a little bit hard to just tell and kind of vague and nondescript. So we'll go through these. And then I've showed you these before. So let's get to Anna's conclusion. Completed as insufficient data. So I was unable to contact this witness. The address provided does not exist. The phone number listed is not in service, and the white pages does not show the number is in use. Email sent to both addresses have been returned undeliverable. The witness provides descriptions of several sightings that are consistent with light reflections as seen from inside a vehicle. Witness location is unclear for each sighting reported. Witness provides several blurry photos and one video, which are all consistent with street lights or traffic lights. While this report strongly suggests a keystroke hoax, I'm going to give the witness the benefit of the doubt based on multiple descriptions of different sightings. I'm closing the case with the disposition of insufficient data. We'll reevaluate if additional information becomes available. So that's a really important thing. If the witness does respond back to her and does give her more information, we may end up changing the disposition on that. And did you want to comment on that case at all, Anna, or no? Okay. So our next case, we'll probably tell you the case number of the next one. June 1st, 1981. This is an older case, took place at 10:10 p.m. A sphere was seen in Brooklyn Park, a CE1. We'll talk about the CE1 and what that means a little bit later. So the synopsis was a medical professional had just dropped off his date and saw what appeared to be a fire near the garage. He got out to investigate, and it rose up and headed toward him, hovered over his head for a few seconds before flying off over the house across the street. He thought it might be a fire hazard, so he went to investigate it, and he just suddenly became really afraid and ran back to his car and he left. So Bill Auden it was assigned when I showed it to you before. And let's see what's going on with that. So it's completed as an unknown other. So Witness dropped off his girlfriend and walked to his car, got in and noticed what looked to be something burning. Stopped his car and got out. Looked like a fireball rising up slowly and silently, stopped a couple feet above the garage. Witness thought it was a fire hazard. At the time, he took a 90-degree turn and moved directly toward him and came to a stop directly above him. It was about 20 feet above the ground and hovered for about 15 seconds. When it started moving, it continued in the same direction, crossing over the driveway. It went over the house across the street and dropped down behind out of sight. The witness still thought it was a fire hazard and could not understand what was happening. He ran over where he could see behind the house and saw it was gone. A fear hit him that whatever he observed and had observed him and was done with him. It was time to go. Good sighting because it was close and lasted for a while. This position is unknown other. So Bill is actually here. Bill, did you want to comment on that at all? Okay, that's not a problem. Okay, case number case number 131376-U took place on May 31st of 2023 at 6:37 p.m. A rectangle was seen, CE1 in Deer River. Traveling back to the house after County Road 19 and County Road 238 in Deer River, noticed a cloud that seemed unusual, started taking pictures. Visual green orb still reviewed the pictures. Okay, so it was assigned to Steve Hero, and Steve Hero's completed it. I think we got the pictures here too. So in this one, he's talking about this spot right there. That's what he's looking at. So hopefully online you can see that, because I know you can't see my pointer. In this one, he's talking about so now it's moved right here. So he's obviously driving. And we talked a little bit about last month about what this probably is. I'm sure you notice it's very obvious right there. And I didn't see it in this one, or did I? It might have been one up in here, but I don't really see it as much in this one as I do in some of the other ones. And yeah, I thought it was obvious in this one. Maybe it's not. I'm just missing it. Yeah, so these are the photos that he submitted. And so this was completed as an IFO. IFO is an identified flying object, a natural phenomenon. I was never able to get in touch with the witness after several attempts. I could tell by the photos that is a lens flare, as explained by the MUFON Director of Investigations International. Case closed as an IFO. So, and I would agree, those little green dots that's a classic lens flare. So one thing that we look at is, did the witness see the green dot and then take his camera and take a picture of it? Or was the witness just taking pictures, and when he looked at the picture, there's a green dot there, which was the case here, which is usually the case. And what that is when there's a very bright light source, and you can see in all these pictures, there's that great bright light source right there. What's happening is there's a not so bright light, then there's this very bright light source. The light comes into the camera and starts bouncing around, reflecting inside the camera, and the lens flares and gives you that little green orb. And it's actually funny, I think it's in a later case today. They talk about the lens flare, and somebody even comments that on the type of lens they use. He comments on the type of coating that's on the lens that creates the color green on that. So it's kind of interesting. So that's a classic lens flare. So close that case as an IFO, natural phenomenon, identified flying object. So thank you, Steve, for your work on that. Case number, I can't see that one either. So this took place on August 8th, 2020 at 11:20 p.m. A circle was seen, FB1 in Long Beach, in Polk County, sitting outside around a fire pit with several family members. Notice the three lights in the sky moving equidistantly from each other. So Joel Henry was working on this one when I showed it to you before. And now let's see, he's completed as an unknown UAV. So on August 8th, 2020, 11 p.m. saw an unknown triangle UAV composed of three lights equidistant move from west to southeast of the witness at an elevation angle of 36 degrees, approximately 500 feet to a mile from the witness, which slowly moved and then changed direction and sped off so fast that the lights looked like a beam and then vanished. FB1. So FB, it's a flyby of the first kind. So case number 130267-U took place on 4/7/2023 at 10:05 p.m. A chevron was seen, a CE1, close encounter of the first kind in St. Cloud. Object first appeared like a low light laser beam in the distance. It had 5 or 6 dome-shaped lights on both sides, emitted a bluish white dull glow. So Bill Anding was investigating this when I showed it to you, and he's completed it now. And an unknown UAV. So he said, I feel this case had the potential to be a fascinating one. After numerous attempts at contact, I failed to get an interview with the witness. And I've talked about this before, how the witness interview is so critical to really getting a feel and sense for what really happened. So he wasn't able to get the interview with the witness this time, which is unfortunate. Continues to be puzzling to me when the sighting was so unique. It's possible that all the information she could provide was in the initial report. She saw no reason to pursue the incident. I am therefore closing the case with the disposition of unknown UAV. And that's not uncommon. So witnesses like really kind of traumatized by it, and they're kind of freaked out by what they see. They've submitted their report and they're like, okay, I've told you enough. I'm done. I want to leave this behind. I want to let it go. Don't bother me anymore. So that's not uncommon. So unknown UAV is a good disposition on that one. So we want to thank thank Will for that one. Case number, I can't see that one either. It took place on 4/10/2023 at 4:45 p.m. An oval was seen, AN1, which anomaly of the first kind in St. Louis Park, driving towards Minneapolis, noticed something in the sky. I looked all over, couldn't find it. I've tried to be very objective about it, tried different things with lighting in my car, and pretty certain it was some sort of craft. So Anna was investigating that one at the time, and let's see what Anna found out. IFO man-made object. So Anna usually does a very detailed and very complete conclusions. And here's another one. So I can't tell you the whole thing, but I'm going to give you a segment of it. The witness was interviewed via telephone and appeared credible and sincere in his report. He states he did not observe any planes in the sky during his sighting and that the object was viewed through the passenger side of the windshield while driving his car southbound toward Edina on Highway 100. This would place the object in the sky over the southwest suburbs of the Twin Cities, which is a known flight path for incoming, outgoing flights from MSP International Airport. I think she said St. Cloud too, but flight number N54739A, a 1981 Cessna aircraft owned and operated by Skylens LLC. This company is an aerial photography company that equips its planes with numerous types of camera arrays. While there are several planes that could have prompted this report, the Skylens plane is probably the most likely culprit. And she talked about how there's like a lot of cameras and reflectors on the bottom, so any light coming from below could easily reflect that, and the plane turning could easily shut that off. And did you want to comment any more on this one at all, or no?
And I included a screenshot showing that there was multiple planes, and I was able to verify at the time with Bill McNiff that there was indeed multiple planes, and that was one of them. But the angle of the sun would have been just right. I think it was 30 degrees. To reflect off of any of those camera lenses, and it's a kind of an unusual plane. So that's why I made that determination.
Yep, cool, very good. Thank you very much. Thank you for that. And thank you for the use of the word culprit. We want to make sure that we know the culprits here. Yeah, catching the culprits. So case number, can't see that it took place on May 6th, 2023 at 3:28 p.m. A disc was seen, AN1, anomaly of the first kind. Minnesota National Guard frontline workers, thank you flight. So Jared was working on this one. Let's take a look. It was in progress at the time. Let's see what Jared found out with that one just during the COVID lockdown. So yeah. So I'm trying to think if was there something in this one? Is this it here that we're looking at? That's the flight. Okay, that's right. That's right. Yeah, because of the video. I don't think the video is going to play on this. So yeah. So there's because yeah, I remember we played this and it goes very fast through here and you barely even see it when it happens. So you catch the flight and there's another close up on the flight. And so here's the actual MUFON photo analysis, which we don't see. I don't see many of these. So this is actually really cool. So I've got the date and stuff. And do you want to talk about this at all or no? Okay. So it's confidential, but I'm showing it to you anyways. Information intended for use of the recipient, titled on the email from MUFON. So they created it, the luminance guidance. So yeah, so this is what I think a typical video photo analysis looks like. And here they actually used AI. They took the image here and they used AI to come up with what it might look like. And that's what but this is obviously what we've seen. So this is a denoise AI. But they notice there's no signs of Photoshop here. So this all looks legit. There's no like different pixelations in there. It all seems very consistent. And their photo video analysis report. The video is 20 seconds long. 2 jets and a larger airplane in the center fly from screen left to screen right in 20-second video. I observed frame by frame and could not identify the object in question, attached to MUFON 2023. A witness reported inadmissible due to Photoshop. Image 5116 PNG is a blow up of the 5115 PNG. Image 5115 PNG is inadmissible for evaluation. A cloudy sky in day with a triangle shaped mirror image cloud at 12:05. So here's the opinion. The image analyzed at 5115 PNG appears to be an original unaltered image. I've talked about that before. Once an image is altered, photo analysis, they really can't use it anymore. So they want really untouched photos. So no clones detected. Object looks like a giant bird with wings spanned open in full flight, according to the reliable forensics that I'm accustomed to use. I could not find the object in the video to see if the movement of it was, or if it was flying like a bird. The object, according to the AI imaging, gives an appearance of the object being a deck-like or raft with a pop-up antenna or mast on the raft. I think that the AI creates a logical object out of its programming, since I know know of and have seen not the raft like masted object like this. I am calling the rendition illogical and therefore not the answer. So because of course AI is very intelligent, but it doesn't have that that human sense. It can only work with it. It can't really interpret or interpolate really so much. So. Oh, so we're calling this one as complete as an IFO identified other. Initial quick look at the video implies to me that they are only birds, but I will get the video analyzed and go from there, which he did. Short interview with the witness. We both concluded the object he saw was most likely a bird. Not going to wait until I get the final assessment from Seth for the video analysis before making a final judgment. In the meantime, the witness will review the video again and make some determinations of its own. It was nice to see the C-130 and F-15s flying together. After hearing from Seth Feinstein, that's the video analysis guy, on the analysis of the video, we've concluded the witness actually videoed several birds in the vicinity while videoing the flight of military aircraft. So disposition, IFO, or identified flying objects, birds. So Jared Nelson. Thank you, Jared, for that. Give him Jared a round of applause for that one. Thank you for your work on that. Case number, I can't tell you that one either. So it took place on March 23rd of 2023 at 11:49 p.m. A triangle was seen, FB1 in Lakeville, so a flyby of the first kind. 3 lights in triangular formation. Observed size was about that of a penny held at arm's length. So that's a technique we use. If you hold something at arm's length, penny, so that's how it appeared to them. Moving faster than a jetliner at 30,000 feet from southeast to northwest. Speed was closer to what you would see a jet at sub 1,500 feet, but zero sound. Spotted with the PVS-14, I could see the exact shape. Sun saw just the lights. I was investigating that one. Unknown UAV. I reviewed the website Stellarium and Heavens Above and can find nothing that would account for the sighting. The witness is very matter of fact. His son also witnessed the event and had trouble sleeping afterwards, so it bothered his son. Witness didn't seem to be seeking attention. He just simply wanted answers. As the son witnessed the event, there were 3 lights flying in unison, not changing relative position to each other. While this could be Starlink or other satellites, I don't believe that to be the case. My reason for stating that is that the father also observed the flights through his night vision goggles. So the son without the goggles just saw 3 points of light equidistant, but with the goggles, the witness could actually see the singular craft, see the shape of the crafts, and see it was all 3 lights on one object. So it was very brief, though. To the witness, seemed to not really embellish the story at all. He was just the facts type of person. So closing this disposition of unknown UAV. So thank me for that. Thank me very much. I'm very proud of that. So no, I'm gonna Case number took place on June 6, 2023 at 10 a.m. A sphere was seen, anomaly of the first kind in Faribault. Observed 5-foot depression and crater in the snow. We talked about this one before. We talked about, and then I was investigating this one. She was out on her deck and freshly fallen snow. It was like a big bowl-shaped depression with the swooping, swirling marks going around it for about 25 feet across. So I looked at that one. I'm going to call this one information only. We think we know what it is, but I'm calling it information only anyway. So here's just a segment of what I said. I found the witness to be very credible and sincere and has a genuine curiosity about the event. I found no reason to believe that she was being deceptive at all. When I get to the very basics of the case, though, there was no actual sighting of any kind. So there was no UFO, there was no flyby, no close encounter, no maneuver, no anomaly. There was just evidence in the snow that something happened there was no actual witness to an event. So there wasn't an event that was someone witnessed. So I believe the assessment that it was some type of bird of prey that impacted the snow, like looking for a mouse or a rabbit that was underneath the snow and try to catch it. And that's where kind of the bowl shape and the swooping came from. As the critter was trying to become airborne again. I think that's a sound conclusion, but I keep coming back to the inescapable conclusion that no event was actually witnessed. So I'm giving this case a disposition of information only because, again, they didn't see anything other than like evidence of something happening. There wasn't an actual event that they saw. So. And that's too, because you could come up with other conclusions to that. So it's sometimes the conclusions, can be kind of tricky in that. So what's up in Minnesota? So these are the new cases. So these are the new cases that have come in since June 10th through yesterday. So like I told you before, there's 7 cases. None of them are ERT cases. So I'm going to show you something on each and every one of them. We'll take a little more time with these. Case number, here's the overview of what we're going to see. So 7 new cases, none of them are ERT. Submission date range was June 10th through yesterday. So the date range of sightings are all pretty current sightings. So June 5th of this year through July 1st of this year. Cases of interest, 0. So case of interest is when a case comes into MUFON. They look at it globally first before they send it to the chapters. If they think it might be valid or legit or might be something there, they'll tag it as a case of interest. None of these are cases of interest. No rapid closed system cases either. That's where we know pretty much like Starlink. We just kind of don't spend a lot of time on it. We close it rather quickly. So shapes we're going to look at, we're going to see 2 circles, 2 cigars, 2 were unknown, and 1 was an other. So I talked about valet classification. So now I'm going to tell you what these valet classifications are. We're getting 7 valet classifications we're looking at today. We're going to see 2 CE1. So CE is a close encounter. So 2 close encounters of the first kind. So a close encounter of the first kind is a class of object seen on the ground or at a short distance to the observer. You can see two of those today. We're going to look at two FB1s. So FB is a flyby. So we're going to look at two flybys of the first kind. So MUFON defines a flyby of the first kind as simply a sighting of a UFO flying by in the sky. This is the category most frequently reported. So we're going to look at three cases. Three of them are MA1. So MA stands for maneuver. So three maneuvers of the first kind. MUFON defines a maneuver of the first kind as gathers those UFO observations that involve an object with a discontinuous trajectory, such as a drop, a maneuver, or a loop. So those are the cases that we're looking at today, or those are the valet classifications of those cases. So let's jump right into them. Case number 131531-U took place on June 9th of this year at 11:06 p.m. The shape was unknown, so a valet classification was MA1, so maneuver of the first kind. This took place in Effie, which is in Otter Tail County. In case you don't know where Effie is, I wouldn't have a clue where Effie is. So their short description, I think they said in a remote area, it was at least 5 miles west and it moved fast. So they had a pretty long description. So here's just a segment of what they said. When I spotted the lights, they seemed to be tracking towards the side of the lake. There are less than 30 cabins here, and I may have been the only one with the lights on. Feeling odd, I stepped back into the house and turned the lights off. So Anna has started and completed this one in less than a month. So this is the only time you're going to see this. You won't see this next month because Anna's already got it completed. So let's see what she says. So she says, this is a hoax keystroke. That's what she says. So she says, I was unable to verify the witness identity or obtain an interview. Again, I talked about how the witness interview is very, very important, especially if the cases if there's things that are not clear about them. Witness did request to be anonymous in the form and provided only their initials. No exact address was given. Emails were returned undeliverable. No reply to text. The investigator called the number listed, and a woman who answered the phone laughed and stated, "You have the wrong number," when writer explained reason for call. Inconsistencies noted in the report include the location of the town as Effie is located in Itasca County, which lies over 100 miles to the northeast of Otter Tail County. The town has a population of 200, not 500, and consists of significantly more than a road stop, bar, and gas station, which was what they had put in their report. So no lakes with cabins are located just west of Effie, although there is a lake east of town with cabins, but much smaller than reported. Witness refers to multiple lights using plurals, then refers to it as a singular. Based on these reasons, I'm closing the case with the disposition of hoax keystroke. Should additional information become available, we'll reopen the case. So that is what we've got on that one. Hoax keystroke. Did you want to comment on that at all, Anna, or no? No? Okay. So hoax keystroke, I'm going to talk about that a little bit because we've got many, many dispositions for MUFON, and there's two different kinds of hoaxes that we talk about. One is a keystroke hoax and one is an event hoax. So I'm going to tell you what these different ones are. So this is a keystroke hoax. So MUFON defines a keystroke hoax as hoax keystroke is used for hoaxes reported to MUFON that are written fabrications, as opposed to an event that is staged for the benefit of fooling the public. So, of course, that's hoax event, a staged event designed to fool the public into believing that they are witnessing a UFO sighting. An example may be a remote control or a UFO flown over a shopping mall at night with the intent to make shoppers think they're witnessing a UFO event. Note, unless the witness summary looks like gibberish or fake names, obscenities, etc., all hoaxes should be proved to be a valid deception. Even if checks are not conducted via the report format, the field investigator should give an explanation as to why the case is a hoax, which would be painfully obvious to anyone reading the report. Witness not credible, case closed, is not establishing why the case is the hoax. And I agree. Looking through all this, and when you actually look through the entire report that the witness submits, there's a lot of stuff that just does not add up. And Anna kind of detailed some of the things too, where things just don't add up. So yeah, but keystroke hoax. So that was a very good conclusion on that. So thank you for your work on that, Anna. Case number, can't tell you on that one. It took place on June 5th, 2023 at 5:24 p.m. A circle was seen in CE1, close encounter of the first kind, in Cohasset. Their short description was, I was taking pictures and never noticed the green glowing round orbs. We're back to those green glowing round orbs again. So if you've been here before, you're noticing those green glowing round orbs show up a lot. I was traveling home and decided to take a few pictures and never saw anything until I looked at the pictures. Remember how they don't see anything, but when they look at the pictures, then there's something there. So that's a classic. It appears the three in pictures and traveled around and back up into the sky. What really made me decide to submit the incident was the picture of the orb when it went up into the clouds. I continued to review the photos and then saw the white object drop down out of the sky. My iPhone 13 was set on live picture mode. This is my second encounter in a few weeks. So Kathy Blixford is still in the progress of investigating this one. So Kathy, we're going to show you the pictures, but I don't know if, are you going to want to comment on this one at all? Have you gotten far enough on that to comment or no? Okay, that's fine. So we'll take a look at some of the pictures. So, and this actually looks very unusual because I don't usually see them looking like this. So, but that's definitely new, but some of them are more classical. And I think it's probably still like this part of what she's talking about too. But here, and in this one, I did not see what they were referring to. So I don't see what they were looking at or wanted to draw our attention to in this picture. But when I get to the next one, I think we start seeing it. So yeah, so here, again, we got that classic green orb that we saw in the earlier one. So you might already know what this is because I think I know exactly what this is. So Kathy's probably, I can probably tell Kathy the conclusion she's going to come to, unless that's the thing where the witness interview, because I thought I saw it in here, but I don't remember where I saw it. Oh yeah, it's right there, right? It's not very bright in this, but you can see the little green orb there too. So, and this is the case too, where the witness, again, the witness interview is critical because the witness could look at the pictures and go, oh no, I see that green dot. That's not what I was talking about. I'm talking about something else. So it really helps, flesh it out as it were. So, and here, so, and this is interesting too, because this is not a green orb, but this has got that definitely a dot. So, and of course we talked about, we've already talked about it at this meeting. I've talked about it in other meetings. We can't submit this photo for or for photo analysis. Can anyone tell me why? I already talked about it today even. Yes. It's been modified. Yeah, simple as that. It's clearly obvious. This is definitely a modified photograph. So we cannot submit this for photo analysis. Although if they do have the unmodified version of this picture, we can submit that. But this can't be submitted because it has been modified by the witness. And it's like I talked about in court, and notice too, here's our little green dot down here. So I wonder if that's the moon or what that might be, but because here's our typical green dot. So like in a court case, if you've got evidence that's been tampered evidence, they just throw it right out because it's been tampered with. So this would be like tampered evidence because it's been modified. So thank you, Eva, for calling that out. Let's give him a round of applause. He got the right answer for that. So thank you so much. So. All right, so let's see what we got coming up next. Can't tell you the case number on that one, but it took place on June 12th, 2023 at 11:13 p.m. Unknown shape, FB1, so flyby of the first kind, took place in Prior Lake. Hundreds of lights traveling in a straight line. So my wife called me outside to view what is a line of hundreds to thousands of points of light moving from west to east at a very rapid rate. They were in the upper level of the atmosphere or in space itself. We have seen Starlink before, and it was nothing like it. There are many objects and they are moving at a much faster rate than any satellite. So this has been assigned to Bill McNeff, and we'll revisit this one again when it's completed. And even though this is kind of the change to how they're doing things. So headquarters is actually assigning the cases directly to the chief investigator. So even though it's listed as being assigned to Bill may assign this to someone else. I don't know if Bill, if you decided if you're going to take this one or assign it to someone else at this point. Yeah, and I would agree with that too. So here we've got that streak. So you've seen this, and usually when people think of Starlink or they've seen Starlink, they see a series of lights, individual lights going like 20 or 30 in a row. And that's after they've been launched further. So this looks like a more recent launch when they haven't had a chance to spread out yet. All the satellites are still very close together, and they do look like this. They will be in like that solid straight line like that. So that's very common for that in Starlink. So even though he's familiar with it, he may not have seen Starlink like this. So it does look very Starlinkish to me. And of course, here's another view, and you kind of see you see a little bit of separation in them, but I think Bill's probably right. That probably is exactly what that is. So, and here you can see him a little bit breaking up a little bit more, but yeah. Sure. That is Elon Musk. Yep. So that's Elon Musk, SpaceX, and he's sending out these satellites, putting them up there to help with cell phone communications, especially in places parts of the planet where cell phone coverage is not as good. He's putting up these Starlink satellites to help with the communication for cell phones there too. And actually, what I should do sometime is, because you go on, I think it's heavens-above.com, and we can look at different satellites and stuff. You can actually go and look at the planet Earth and see where all the Starlink satellites are. And there's red dots everywhere. So it'd be nice. Maybe I'll show that next month, just so people can know, like, oh man, there are Starlink satellites everywhere. And I looked at it recently, and there are little red dots in like a grid pattern, or like almost like a cage shape. But if you look toward the top and toward the bottom, and sometimes toward the side, there's these little red streaks, and those little red streaks, they're satellites still that haven't gotten to their final position yet. So the little red dots, the satellites are in their final position. the streaks look like this and they're not in their final position. They're still moving out to where they're going to go. So case number, I'm not sure what this one is, but it took place on June 12th of this year at 11:20 p.m. A cigar with shaped object was seen, FB1, so flyby of the first kind, took place in Shakopee. Long line of lights. So we got that long line of lights again. So I personally observed a long line of lights, white lights, proceeding from south to north. No sound. So the lights were in a rectangular shape. The lights were in a straight line above cloud cover, about 30 lights in all. What was strange were the lights were behind a small thin cloud and then disappeared. They did not continue past the cloud on the other side. Lights appeared to move more like windows, or appeared to be more like windows on a craft rather than orbs. So there's a sign to Bill McNeff again, and he may keep it, he may sign it, someone else will. But we'll revisit this one again when it's been completed. And I don't think we had no pictures on that one. But again, you hear that. And again, it sounds like classic Starlink. And there's ways that website I referenced, we can go out and look in. From this position, we can see when all the Starlink satellites are passing by. It gives us location times. We can really have a really good guess at if there were Starlink satellites in the sky at that time, what that may be what they're seeing. So June 19th of this year at 9:50 p.m., a circle was seen in St. Joseph, MA1, so maneuver of the first kind. This is all they had for their short description. They just said white light. So they had a more detailed description. So here's a segment of their detailed description. I could also hear a rumble coming from above, I thought. I walked halfway down my driveway. I looked all over the place and couldn't find an airplane. I was expecting to see a jet maybe 4 miles up, but they typically make a steady noise if you can hear them at all. All of a sudden in the southeast, I see 2 lights and they're not connected, heading northwest, going super fast. They could have been at 2,000 feet if they could have been at 3 miles. They went over my head, and as they headed towards where the sun set, then all of a sudden they start going higher like a jet in an air show. So Bill Palmieri is working on this one, and he will update us when he concludes that one, or we'll revisit this one once he's completed that case. So, and this is of all the cases that we got this stuff. This one they didn't list a date at all. They didn't even list a year. They just gave us a time of 12 a.m., which may be accurate, maybe not. They may just not want to put anything in there. So, their shape was an other, and so when we say the shape is an other, we looked earlier at the statistics. We had all the different shapes there, like circle, sphere, square, chevron, teardrop, all those things. When we've got a shape of an other, the reference that I use for most people is think of the Starship Enterprise. If you see the Starship Enterprise, is it a disc shape? Well, no, there is a disc there, but it's not a disc shape. Is it a cylinder shape? Well, there's a cylinder there, but it's not a cylinder shape. You can't really put it nicely into a category like a chevron or a teardrop, but it's something other than that. So there is a shape there, but we don't have an actual classification that really fit it nicely. So that's kind of what I think of when I think of others. So CE1, close encounter of the first kind, Garrison, which is in Crow Wing County. Craft was a 1/4 mile long and rectangular with shorter rectangular cross sections, was flying west to east a couple of 100 feet above the tree line heading. And their detailed description over Garrison in Minnesota and Lake Mille Lacs. I was only able to notice the UFO because of full moon fishing opener and wondered if anybody else saw it. So they'd like to see if anyone else. And sometimes we'll get these reports around the same time. We'll have several people report it. And it's possible too. We have seen this on occasion. This report is reported now. We don't get any other cases now. And this is tough because there's no date on it. But we know it's fishing opener. But in 5-10 years from now, we might have someone go, yeah, back on fishing opener, back in whatever. This is probably this year, I'm guessing. But, so we can kind of corroborate that way. And this is a bad example because they don't list a date. But anyways, Steve Hero is working on this one. When Steve completes this one, we will get you what Steve concludes on this one. And I don't think there's any photos in this one. So no. And our next case is a July 1st, 2023 at 9:57 p.m. A cigar was seen, MA1, so maneuver of the first kind in Eden Prairie. This was their full short description, light object. That's all they said. And in their detailed description, practice CE5, so it's close encounter of the fifth kind. Went outside to take the dog out. Checked blink camera in the morning and saw the object fly behind me. So CE5. So I do want to talk about that a little bit. So he says he practices CE5. So that's gotten a lot of talk in the past few years. And where did my classifications go? So CE5 technically is a valet classification that we've talked about, but CE5 is getting to be kind of a trendy thing. So MUFON has all these valet classifications. Stephen Greer also has a valet classification of CE5. But if you look at his CE5 classification definition and our CE5 classification definition, they're pretty different. And I don't think I brought his with me this month, but I do have ours. So our definition of a CE5 is a close encounter of the fifth kind, encompasses cases of close encounters in which the witness has suffered permanent injuries or other physiological effects, including death. So the witnesses have had these close encounters, physiological effects, including death. So it's very traumatic. Now, Stephen Greer's CE5 is, he has a set of procedures and protocols where you go out at night, usually with a group of people, and you do things. And the idea is you're going to try to attempt to make contact with the extraterrestrials. You're trying to draw them in so you have some type of communication with them. So that's very different from ours. And then I've read another CE5 description too, from definition from another group. So it's very, when someone says CE5 to you, ask them what they mean, because there are different definitions out there. So we've got our definition. And I mean, I could really argue that ours is the correct one, because we came up with the valid classification. We have all of them, and we defined all the categories and the classifications, but people can do whatever they want to do. So he was practicing CE5. He was doing the Stephen Greer protocols at his house and was out trying to call in UFOs and extraterrestrials. So it's completed. I think we've got the video. So you want to stop sharing this and show us the video, because it wouldn't pull up in the PowerPoint, but we'll show you the video. So there's the witness. I don't know if you can see the witnesses right there. He's walking right through here. Yep. Yep. And you just want to play it at full speed and play it again. Is it looping? It might be a looping. Yeah. Okay. And notice again, he's down here walking away, so he doesn't even see it. He doesn't see it till he watches the camera the next morning. So yeah, there's right there. And are they seeing this online? We'll get to your question in a second, Mike. Okay. Did everybody here in the room get a good chance to get a good sense for what it is? Did they see it pretty well online? Okay. So yeah, let's try that. It's good stuff. Yeah, he's right down here. He goes right there. You're walking there. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Jared slowing the speed down. Wow. Jared's on the stick. There's our witness. Yep. Yeah, it came from right there and moved across. It came in from right there. I think he paused the video too, so it's still playing. Yeah, the pause was not us. The pause was actually in the video. So, okay, Mike had a question. Well, Bill McNeff completed that. Let's take a look and see what Bill McNeff says. If you can go back and share our PowerPoint. Looks like a rod. Yep. So Bill McNeff completed his IFO identified other. A frame-by-frame inspection of the video revealed that the image of the object, unknown object, is somewhere between the background objects and the camera lens, and two stubby wings are showing, which appear to represent two wing strokes. The object shows a higher degree of reflection from a light near the camera, looking almost self-luminous. Conclusion: the object is a light-colored insect within a few feet of the camera. Disposition will be IFO other, Bill McNeff, ID 6681. So that's our conclusion. So, Bill, did you want to comment on this one at all? Okay, yep, says conclusion speaks for itself. So a couple of things I want to point out too is, remember, again, we've got another situation where the witness didn't witness anything. They saw it on the camera, so there was not a live witness to the event. When people saw it for the first time, how many people thought it was an insect? You don't have to put your hand up, but so the majority of people in the room thought it was an insect initially when they saw it, without doing any investigation. So and it sounds like Bill went and took a look at it. He slowed it down. He zoomed in. He kind of get it. He wanted to make sure he saw. If it's that obvious to everybody that it was probably an insect, does anybody know why Bill might have done a little more deeper dig on it, and why he might have done some more investigating on that one? Any thoughts on that? Okay, so I'll give you my thoughts on it. So we all thought it was an insect. I think that's probably the correct conclusion. So it's easy to just take a case like this and see a video like that and go, oh, it's an insect, and write it off. But people that have had UFO sightings or witnessed UFOs have tried to tell their story to people, and people just go, oh, that's not what it was. I know, and they just write it off. So it's important to the dignity and the integrity of the witness and of the case and of our process and procedures, and being true to the scientific process, that we actually take the time and look at it, even if we know exactly what it is, because I know I've had this experience. I'm assuming other people have had this experience too, where you see your nose, see something, you go, oh, I know what this is. I know what you're talking about. And when you dig into it a little bit deeper, you find out there's a little bit more there than what you expected. And it wasn't initially what you thought it was. It doesn't happen all the time. I know I've had that experience, but it does happen sometimes. But so it really is, and really, when it comes to our database, our whole organization, we really rely on the public to submit their sightings and reports to us. So it's, I don't know if gift is the right word. It's something they're giving us, something valuable. They're giving us their report, their sighting. It is kind of on us to really treat it with respect and do some dignity, and not just blow it off and write it off and go, oh, that's an insect, I'm not going to even look at it. It really does. It is worth taking the time to do some investigation and really take a second look at it, just to make sure that even what we think it is truly what it is. So actually, I would commend Bill for doing that, because it's an outstanding job. So give Bill a round of applause for that. So. And I believe that is what's up in Minnesota for this month. What do you call? We're clocking in after 2 o'clock. So.